everybody, it's Speedy Gonzalez here at Lawrence Motorsport. I'm very happy and excited for this video I have for you today. Today we are taking out this beautiful 2LT Z51 package. One of our previous clients traded in, and one of our very close clients buys a new car from us all the time, but he went ahead and got himself into a Porsche GT3, so we have this beautiful example back in stock. Perfect spec in my opinion. It's white with the red interior. It is a coupe, which lets you see the engine. I personally like that, and it has the competition seats. They fit really well for me. I'm a bigger guy, but they bolster not too aggressively. I can still move around, but when you get into the corners, they kind of hold you in your spot. I also love the flat bottom and flat top steering wheel on this. I'm a taller guy and my knees do come up, and I can turn completely 360 with no interference whatsoever, hand over hand. It's very simple to use this vehicle in an aggressive manner. It has a lot of different drive modes on these you can switch through, so you can kind of dial it in exactly like you want. There is a Z mode here on the steering wheel. You can tap that, say I want to have it shift smoothly because maybe I have somebody in the car that doesn't like the aggressive shifting, but I still want to go fast. I still want to hear the exhaust. This one does have that performance exhaust. It sounds pretty good. I'll give you a couple revs. Definitely sounds like a Corvette. The weird thing is you have that induction noise that you normally hear in the front of the vehicle. It's in the behind you now, so you have a different feeling when you're driving this car. When you have the engine behind you, it feels a little bit more exotic, handles a lot more exotic. This car right here is probably the best handling, best performing car under $100,000 in my personal opinion, from my experience of what I have driven. But other than that, I'll let the car do most of the talking for you here. I just want to kind of give a brief intro, but let's see how it drives. So we're pulling out here in normal mode. I'm gonna go ahead, of course, put it in sport. Nobody wants to see me drive this thing in normal. This one is over its braking mileage, so it gives us all of the power needed. Normally the RPMs are limited when you first buy them. We've had a couple like that here in stock, but we're gonna take the same route as always, just hopping out here on a test drive route. Let it warm up a little bit and kind of cruise around. Get on one of these on-ramps and really let her loose. But yeah, the steering on this car is exceptional. You put it in sport mode and it handles on rails. It just it seems like it's glued to the floor. Definitely a better handling vehicle than the previous generation. I love the C7 Corvette. It's a great car, a really fun car because it's a little squirrely, a little bit of fun to kick out on you. This car is the complete opposite of that. It doesn't give you the opportunity. It just hooks up and rolls out, pushes you to the back of the seat. And I would say 0 to 80, there's not a lot of cars that will keep up with this under $100,000, like I was saying, or even half or 2 times as much for most vehicles. But yeah, let me get out here on the road, give it some gas. See, this is in sport mode, not track, but the dual clutch transmission's really quick. It shifts lightning fast. I'll go ahead and do a little bit of driving here. It's a lot of wind noise with the top off. I just felt like it was a perfect day to enjoy that. But we'll get here on the road here, take a ride, and I'll give you guys a little pull, see what she got. I really like the paddle shifters on these. They're metal, you can feel it. It feels really nice, but it's also, they're huge. They go almost, halfway. I would say they're half the size of the steering wheel on the side, so you can grab them in the middle of a turn. Another cool thing I like about the Corvette a lot is the fact that the paddle shifters, put it in manual mode real quick. The paddle shifters do, or let's hear it real quick. Yeah, plenty of power. It's 490 horsepower, 495 with the performance exhaust like this one has. But the cool thing about it is, as you saw on that turn right there, you can be deep into a turn and still grab the paddles because the paddles are mounted on the steering wheel itself, not on the column. So they turn with the wheel. I love that feature. I think it's a must for paddle shifted vehicles if you're going to use it all the time. But a really loud Mustang in front of us. The cool thing about this car though too is whenever you get out of it and you give it a couple upshifts, it smooths itself out even in sport mode. It's a very comfortable car. You can drive this thing every day. You can drive it for miles. It's not going to beat you up. It's not going to wear you out. And another cool thing is when you roll up the windows, even with the top off, you get a little bit better sound quality in here. I noticed it's really easy to have a conversation in this vehicle. And when you step up to the 2LT, you do get that Bose Performance Series sound system, and it's amazing. You can hear the music over everything that's going on around you. I really do like the Bose sound system in this vehicle. So, get on the freeway up here and really see how she does on the on-ramp. Favorite part of the test drive, of course. The cool thing I like about this car too is there's no turbocharger, there's no supercharger, it's all motor. It's the new engine, it's the LT2 by Chevrolet. Like I said, 490 horse, 495 with the performance exhaust like this one has. Doesn't seem like a lot nowadays, crazy enough to say, when you got Mustang GTs making 460 horsepower, but with the dual clutch, mid-engine, and lightweight chassis, this car is plenty fast for most people that are going to be driving it. It's a very, very, very capable track weapon for those who do take the vehicle to the track, but you can still drive it every single day, no problem whatsoever. Cool thing is, whenever you put it in track mode, you do get this display up here that shows you the RPMs, and you can see that gets it nice and big. It reminds me of the McLaren a little bit, how they have the RPM sideways. Allows you to really focus on driving. You also do have your heads-up display. You can see on this guy's, you can't really see because it's on the back of his vehicle, but you have the heads-up display there that tells you your RPMs as well as your speed, all the stuff you're going to want to know when you're in track mode. You put it in, and you can customize all that. Really great infotainment system as well. You do have the voice-activated navigation that's connected, keeps updated. You know, it's a nice thing to have. It's, you know, almost a must-have with these newer cars. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all that fun stuff. This vehicle does have the performance data recorder. It's really cool to use. It actually records while you're driving, so you don't need to bring a GoPro or anything. You just buy an SD card, throw it right in there, and it tells you right there. You know, you can actually pop up your lap times and RPMs and all that on the screen and watch it later. See what speed you were entering corners at, what speeds you were accelerating, and you know what RPMs you're launching at. So kind of dial down the perfect lap time for your favorite racetrack, or a couple racetracks at that. So we're gonna go ahead and hop right here in this messy Scottsdale traffic, and see how she is on the freeway. Now, this car has amazing road manners for the type of vehicle that it is. Back into this interior, looking at it compared to the previous generation, it's just it's definitely a step in the right direction. They seem to have really brought it up to an exotic level. I've had clients with Lamborghinis and Ferraris really enjoy this car. Sounds great, but that performance exhaust is a must-have option, I would say. If I was going to be ordering one of these, I would definitely grab one with the performance exhaust. Z51 package, I would say, also definitely helps. Gives you some upgraded brakes, a little bit stiffer dampening. If you're not going to track it, maybe not Z51. It seems to ride a little stiffer than the base model, but on a car like this, I think it's a nice performance option to have. You gotta love yourself a pushrod V8. It's nice that everybody's going to dual overhead cam engines that rev to the moon, but Corvette and Chevy has always done a really good pushrod 6.2 liter. They stick with the formula that everybody knows and loves, and I really do appreciate that because there's no replacement for displacement, and it's nice to have a large V8, I would say, under the hood or under the hatch in this case, of a Corvette. It just feels right. I'm very excited to see how the Z06 handles with the flat plane crank engine that they're coming out with, but we're eventually definitely going to miss the torque of these larger displacement V8s. So we'll go ahead and hop off here because we've hit all of the traffic, and we'll head back to the dealer. I'm going to go ahead and throw it in touring mode while we're in traffic here just to kind of show you. It's hard, obviously, to see from camera, but you immediately, as soon as you switch it over, you feel the suspension soften up, you feel the shift points change. I'll go ahead and put it in drive. The shift points change, of course, in the drive mode. It doesn't rev out as much quieter in the exhaust when you're moving around. The cool thing is, though, if you get all the way into it, it's still a Corvette. It's going to downshift and it's going to get loud. See how much smoother it delivers the power in touring mode. This is the mode you're going to use 90% of the time that you're driving the car around town, especially if you want to stay out of trouble, because this car is so smooth. I would say it's one of those that's going to sneak up on you. You start getting into the gas in this thing, and before you know it, you're doing felony speeds. So you definitely want to calm down a little bit and keep it in touring as much as possible. Still gives you plenty of power, but kind of puts it down a little better too. Not going to downshift too aggressively and start spinning the tires. Because this, as well as it puts out power, it does still chop first pretty bad if you let it just launch off the light. But the 0 to 80 on this thing is just ridiculous. That's where most of this performance lies, is right there on the acceleration from a dead stop. This is a stoplight warrior, as they call them. Really love the heads-up display though. Right now it's telling me when I took it out of track, put it in touring, it tells me the miles per hour on the street, so I can stay going the speed limit. Has a really nice cruise control system as well. Like I said, really good audio. Another cool thing, you got heated cooled seats, but you also got heated steering wheel, so it's a very comfortable car to drive every day. Go ahead and open the map up for you. Looks like I can't because it's brand new and nobody used it before, which is fine. Better for the next guy to set it up, I guess. And you get a lot more information in the touring mode. It kind of gives you, it's all customizable too. The cool thing about the gauges, I can sit here and change what's being displayed at any moment in time. I can move through all these different menus and always have the information that I want. 0 to 60 timer right there, audio, telling me about music, maintenance, all that fun stuff. And then I can go to the end here. I really like this feature. You go to simplify and it takes whatever's on the screen off, leaves you a nice simple screen, and at any time you can go ahead and bring that back on by tapping the OK button for a couple seconds. So that being said, touring mode out of the way. You do have weather as well for acclimate weather, but we'll go ahead and put it back into, like right now it's at a 4-cylinder mode. We'll put it in touring, save you some gas, but then you put it in track, hear the exhaust open up, you feel the suspension and steering start to tighten. And for an electric steering, it feels really manual. Like you feel a lot of road feel for the vehicle, which a lot of people complain about when they jump over to electric steering. This one seems fine. I can feel the road pretty well. And then knock it into manual mode. No manual option available, but the dual clutch is great. You can lock it into the mode. It's going to hold the mode for you. You can hold both paddles, go into neutral and rev it if you want to. Let it out and it's back into gear. So it works like a manual if you need it to, but it has all the benefits of having a dual clutch. That being said, it looks like we've got some room in front of us here. Go ahead and give it some juice and let's see how she does. Yeah, I love the sound of the paddles. I don't know if you can hear that on the video with the wind noise, but it makes a nice metallic click. It sounds really high quality. Definitely a step up. Chevrolet knocked it out of the park with this car. It's such a nicer vehicle in every sense of the word than the previous generation. You have better handling, better performance figures, more fuel efficient, and better acceleration times. But with that being said, you also have this beautiful interior. You have these great options like the camera systems, the axle lift, which is another great one. This one doesn't quite have, but some of them do have. It's a really cool system to have because you have a lot of driveways out here that are set up more for trucks and Jeeps, and to have the ability to go ahead and use the axle lift to not tear up that beautiful front end on this car is a nice feature to have. We're going to go ahead and try a launch in this and see how she hooks up, see how it handles it. These cars are notorious launch kings. Not bad, a little bit of wheel spin, but it got out there. That 0 to 60 time was probably really competitive with a lot of sports coupes in the class, even with that wheel spin there, I would say, because it felt great. And that shift, when it hits the next gear, you feel it in your chest. Like I said, not a manual transmission, but does a really good job. I'm glad they went with the dual clutch and didn't try to just force feed everybody a full automatic, because as you can see, the dual clutch is lightning quick. It's one of the nicer ones. It's a Tremec unit. You know, Tremec does great transmissions. It did a great job bringing the Shelby GT500 to an automatic, that is, and I think they knocked it out of the park with the Corvette as well. Another cool feature that I like about this is the driving position. You have a lot of adjustment with that. You got your steering adjustment, you got a lot of seat adjustment, bolster adjustment. I'm very comfortable right now, believe it or not. The competition seats are very comfortable. There's GT1, GT2 seats as well, and they do great for what you're using them for. But I think with the Z51, with me racing around everywhere, I definitely go with the competition seats. I think most people would as well. Maybe a little bit stiffer for some of those people that aren't going to be driving it as aggressively. I would say stay away from a Z51 package if that's the case, and get yourself the GT2 seats. Those are a little bit more road trip comfortable, I would say. But for around town, I have no complaints about this setup right here. I think this car would be great even to take to, you know, a 6-hour drive to California, up through PCH and all that fun stuff. This would be a perfect car for that. I think that would be an amazing opportunity. Yeah, that transmission's amazing. And I'm a die-hard 3-pedal manual guy, and this transmission is just, it makes me realize that it's not all bad. And it makes a really good sound when you shift. It's almost like a Porsche dual clutch little puff, you know, and you feel it in your chest. It feels good. It adds to the experience, and I'm really happy with the way it all came together, especially with this engine. It takes full advantage of the torque and horsepower, and I think it's, you know, the numbers speak for themselves on this car. Very nice car for sure. Well, thanks for watching my driving impressions. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you have any questions. I try to answer every comment on my channel. Not too much of a Chevy guy, but Corvettes it was my first sports car, so I love these things 100% of the time that I drive a Corvette. I leave knowing that I smiled at least a couple times, you know, especially these cars. This car right here is next level. It's Porsche 911, you know, Carrera level of just driving dynamics. Everything feels tighter than the previous generation. Everything feels nice and dialed in, and it's very efficient. Every single time you launch it, it's very consistent with the launches, consistent with the shifts. I did a lot of paddle work, but if you leave this thing in auto, it's going to be faster than I can ever shift it, faster than any manual could ever shift. And you're not sacrificing anything with this package. You're getting a great Bose sound system in here. You got wireless charging, heated cooled seats, camera system, 360, removable top, different drive modes, different customization options, voice activated nav, built-in performance data recorder. You're not missing anything with this package, and this is just a 2LT. So these cars are really a step up, like I said before in the video, from the previous generation. I'm very happy with them. I'm excited to see what they do with the Z06 and ZR1 and Zora, whatever else they're talking about doing with this chassis. I feel like they can go really far with it if this is the entry level. There's no doubt about it. Very excited for the flat plane crank. I love the Shelby 350s. I love the way they sound, the way they handle, and I'm sure that car is going to sound great as well. But for most people, this car right here has more performance than you'll ever use on the street. So if you are looking for a C8 Corvette, I thank you for looking around, finding my video, and watching it. I hope I was able to help answer some of your questions about this car and what it's like to drive it. But if you do have any more questions, comment below or give me a ring. I'm here at Lawrence Motorsport. Just ask for Joshua Gonzalez. I'll be happy to get you an answer to any questions, any financials put together on the car. We have plenty in stock. I got a couple convertibles as well, another cool option. So yeah, I'm happy to help put a dream in your driveway. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I hope you're having a wonderful day.